Hi everyone. I believe our mics are live. Let us know if you can't hear us or if you can't see us. It's been a long summer break, so getting back to the lives always takes time to figure out um, the controls again, especially when everything updates every couple of months.
Yep, thanks for your patience.
Yeah, so
So, shall we jump into it?
for sure, we'll start with your favorite topic, roses and thorns.
Okay. Um, well, welcome back, everybody. I'm sure, well, usually the same group of people seem to join us, our ride or dies, A. So, hey, everyone. Hey, Brady, A. Just kidding. Um, yeah, no, I wanted to just say hi. For those who might be new to our live, my name is Adrian. I am I'm Dana, born and raised in the Tuba City area, Tuba City, Arizona, Western Res, and I am a mother and a co-host of this channel and a small business owner. And we usually do this little segment at the beginning called Roses and Thorns, basically our highlights and some things that are kind of like not so cool. So I guess like my rose for this month is, well, my birthday month was in August, so I did a lot of celebrating. My husband got us tickets to see Pantera and Amon Amarth, and that was awesome. So I had a really good birthday because I love those bands, and so it was pretty epic. And one of the coolest things that happened was there was a big thunderstorm that came through, and when Amon and Martha were performing, you could see like lightning in the background because it was at outside amphitheater, so you could kind of see the storm getting closer and closer. And they were singing like about like the thunder gods, and you know what I mean. Like they're one of those bands that kind of they one of their I guess one of the foundations of what they write about in their songs is linked to J.R.R. Tolkien's literature. And so they always talk about like sailing and thunder gods and the sea, and it's all cool. Anyways, so kind of nerdy, but I loved it. Anyways, then Pantera took the stage and the storm had arrived and the palm trees were swaying and thunder started to come down and there was this big rainstorm that was descending. And so they actually stopped the show and they told everyone like, hey, like for the sake of your safety, we have to stop the show. So the band left the stage. And I swear to God, like once they left the stage, all the roadies and stuff started covering all the equipment. And then this huge storm hit and there were like sheets of rain coming from all sides. It was really cool. It was epic. So yeah, that was fun. And then this past weekend, well, it's September now, and so it's my husband's birthday month. And so we went to Los Angeles this past weekend and we saw Oasis. So that was probably one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. It was really cool. So those are my roses. My thorns are probably, I would say, um, I put up these really nice path lights outside and someone ran them over.
That's
So that
horrible.
pissed me off. And then I guess just like back to school stuff, there's like you know how it can be kind of stressful getting back into the rhythm after a long summer break. So those are kind of some of my thorns. How about you?
um, I guess I'll start with my thorns because they're
Okay.
so apparent. Even me and Mona were talking about this earlier. Is like we're not really good at remembering good things. We always
Mm,
just store the bad things. Like just have a big old list of thorns and like maybe a
yeah.
rose or maybe it's a petal, but
Hmm.
um, but this past month, the whole family got COVID,
Ooh.
and
Yeah.
it wasn't as serious. Like no one was like seriously ill. It was just really annoying. Um,
Hmm.
and so was one major thing. And then again, like back to school, having to wake up super early,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. So.
How crazy that you guys got COVID. I feel like that's so 2021. Hey, just kidding.
This is the first time I ever like I've never had COVID before this. This is my first
Really?
time. I know, like you
Dang.
were like what 4 or 5 times, and like
No,
even my
I got
mom.
it. I got it once in 2023. So I went 3 years without getting it, and then we went to Canada, and I got it, and I was like really upset with myself. It's like, dang it! And my kids were like, "That's what you get for leaving the country." I'm like, "You don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, my mom last year she got it, and then she got better. Then she went back to school because she's a teacher, and then she got it
Hmm.
again, and then she got it like 3 times in a
Hmm.
row. She like basically
Yeah.
missed like 2 months
Oh
of
my
work.
gosh. Dang. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was the
Yeah.
first time I got it ever.
I was scared. Yeah, I was so scared. I just like isolated myself for years, and then when the vaccines came out, I started getting them and getting the boosters, and so I just was like so afraid of contracting it, but it got me. I'm
Yeah,
glad you guys are okay. That's good.
yeah, it was like maybe like a day or two of just like not being well, and then we just had to wait until we tested negative.
Hmm. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember like when the pandemic was like in full swing, we were working at Dana College, and so they were really strict about making sure that we were vaccinated, and like there were all kinds of restrictions in place for the campus to protect people because a lot of the professors are of elevated age, so you wanted to be careful with them, make sure they didn't get sick. Yeah, dang. So you're feeling better now?
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a pretty major thorn. Have you started wearing a mask when you go out?
No. Mainly because like all we have are like the kids' masks. That's all that's left. So it
Mm.
really hurts my face.
Oh my God, I still have like stockpiles of masks here, adult and for children. It's like
Like
insane.
me and my family don't go anywhere. Like you go to these concerts, and I'm a
I know.
homebody. I'm a hermit. Like when like I think we've talked about this before. Like when the pandemic was going on and everyone was quarantining, I'm like, I'm fine. I don't know what you're talking. I don't have to
Yeah.
go anywhere. No one's expecting me to show up and participate. And
Yeah, I
so,
remember that. You were like, you were like so happy during that time.
but no one
Like,
asked me to go anywhere.
I remember that. It's funny. So, what's your rose?
A rose. My little one's turning 2 in on the 21st,
Ooh,
so we're
just
planning his
cute.
birthday. Um, and then I guess just trying to get back to work, making Navajo Tea
Mm-hmm.
Time content, trying to make some more content with happy accidents and stuff
Mm-hmm.
with that. So just being in this mental space, I guess, of being able to get back to work. It's really
Mm-hmm.
weird, like when you're a creative person and you need to want to create and do things, but then like you're just not feeling it mentally, and like bouts of depression. You're like, I just don't want to do any work today. I just can't do any work. I can't focus. So
Mm.
now I'm starting to like after COVID. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm done. I was sick and I really literally couldn't move my body for a couple of days, but now I'm over the sickness,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm over this depression. Let's get back to work. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Yeah.
just feel mentally ready to start doing more creative work again.
Cool. That's a good place to be. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
excited to work. I feel like that too. I feel really energized by what I've been up to lately. So yeah, it's a nice shift. So yeah.
sorry again, everyone, for the bad internet. I know it keeps stopping on the live, but this is Cameron, and it's windy, so I always describe the internet as spider webs. And once the wind blows it away, it just goes away.
Mm-hmm. Is it freezing or something? Did anyone say that?
Not freezing. Well, like I can see it on the YouTube studio. Like it keeps stopping and going and
Um,
stopping and going. So maybe the playback is probably the best choice for everyone.
yeah, probably.
Alrighty. So there's nothing in the chat right now. I asked like a bunch of questions in a row. So hopefully anyone on live stream
Mm-hmm.
will feel comfortable to ask. Yeah. So we go our topics. The first one being like, the fair season has begun.
Oh yeah.
For
Mm-hmm.
me, I think it starts Labor Day weekend with the Filipino County Fair, but I think there was one earlier than that. The Chinle
Mm-hmm.
Fair. Yeah, that's where we got the COVID because not my husband, his
Mm.
coworkers went to the fair to help promote their business, and then they had a meeting the next Monday, and then we all got sick that week.
Oh man.
So,
Dang, that sucks. Yeah, I
see what
think
happens when
Southern
you go
Apache
out.
had their fair too.
Anyways, um, that's cool. Yeah, like the fair season. Um, the one I usually go to is Western Navajo Fair, but I don't know if I'm gonna go this year. Not because of $5 parking, but it's just so many people. Again,
Mm. Yeah, I know. I love going to the fair. I like their concerts, but yeah, I'm not really too excited about this year's lineup. It's all rowdy.
I haven't even seen the lineup. Like, I don't know. Usually,
Yeah, like, dude, it's too short.
yeah.
That's, yeah, Too Short's coming to Tuba City. It's
I
all
have
rowdy.
I have no idea who that is.
You don't know who Too Short is? What?
I don't know band names.
They're not a band. He's a rapper, like
Oh well, then definitely don't know
West
them.
Coast rap,
I
like,
don't listen
you
to
know.
rap. No.
What the heck? That's crazy. You don't know. Oh my
I
goodness.
don't listen to rap, and I hardly even remember the band names I do listen to, so I don't think I'm going to remember a genre that I don't listen to at all.
Do you know who 3 6 Mafia is?
It sounds familiar. I think people in high school talked
Uh
about
huh.
them, but
I don't know if you guys can see this, but
now it disappeared.
yeah, it's obscured. But yeah, right there, there's a flyer. It's all rowdy. I know. Dude, I mean, I know for a fact it's going to be an awesome show because, I mean, the venue is amazing. Tuba City are like, I don't know anyone from Tuba who isn't like a big fan of music. You know what I mean? Like, that's like our lifeblood out there. So I bet it's going to be an awesome show, but I don't know if I'm going to go. It's too crazy. Too Short's all rugged too, so.
I don't know.
Seriously, his lyrics are just, they're all dirty. But yeah, and then there's gonna be like a Selena tribute called Anything for Latinas. That'll be cool. And then Tucker Wetmore, who I don't know who that is. And then there's like I don't know if these are like tribute bands, but it says Great White and Slaughter. And I'm like, is that like the real bands? Like the real Great White and the real Slaughter? If so, you know the anti are gonna be wild. They're gonna be like coming out for this. So that's pretty crazy. Hair metal and rap and cumbia, probably, and some country.
I
It's a
like
pretty.
how they have like Western night, metal night, hip hop, and
Mhm.
something
Yeah,
for everyone.
yeah, totally. So that's pretty wild. I know, like, I'm saving up for a big trip this fall, though. So that's the reason why I'm probably not going to go because I need to save my money. So I don't know. I need content for Vlogmas A. Just kidding.
Right?
Yes. I might even need to get a camera too, because like I have a camera, but it only you know how like some cameras they only let you roll for like a set amount of time.
Mhm.
And the one I have, it does that, and it's like not for a long time. So,
I think
anyways.
most cameras, unless it's like a professional one, go that
Mm-hmm.
way because with the SD card, it takes a while for the computer to transfer that data onto the SD card.
Oh,
Like when you're trying to take really fast photos of like a sport and you just hold the button down and then it kind of like
yeah.
stops and like takes a while to load. That's why it's just like the
Mm.
data moving onto the SD card.
Oh, I
But
see.
if you get more expensive professional cameras with more expensive professional SD cards, you don't have that limit.
Mm.
But those are like $5,000, six
Yeah,
thousand
I'm not doing
dollars.
that. Not until I don't know. Yeah, that's crazy. It's a lot of
Definitely not
money.
until we're monetized.
Yeah. So yeah. So
All right.
Western Navajo Fair. Did you go to the? You probably didn't go to
We were
the
sick.
Navajo Nation Fair, right? Yeah.
We were sick.
Mhm.
Well, we weren't gonna go, but Gurn's company was gonna go, and then he kind of like, can't really go because we got sick, and I don't want to be in a crowd of people to get sick again.
Mhm.
And almost, I never go to the Window Rock Fair.
Yeah, it's like pretty epic. I thought it was pretty cool. Their theme this year was really, I thought was cool. It was, they were honoring Navajo women, and I was like, that's what's up. So they had like all the, like during the parade, all of the like the every all the floats were around that theme, honoring Dene women, Dene Estan. And Virginia Ballinger, she's the owner of Navajo Spirit. She's like a really, really great designer and a business owner, and she was the grand marshal. So
Oh,
that
okay.
was pretty cool. Yeah. And then we have a new Miss Navajo too, Miss Navajo Nation. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I wanted to go, but I had these tickets, and we got these tickets a long time ago, like when they went on sale. My husband was like, because we do this thing where like every year we set our budget for the year, and we always have a concert budget, and it was going to be limited this year, and so I was like, last year we did a bunch of bands that I wanted to see, so let's like, you choose the ones you want to see this year. And so he was like, all right, cool. So he really wanted to see the Eagles and Oasis. And so we made sure that that happened. So, or I made sure that happened. And so we got the tickets a long time ago when they first went on sale to ensure that we got them. And so we just like, those are like the two big concerts for the year. And then I got my daughter some tickets for her birthday. And then my husband got me some for my birthday. And then I took my son to see Kill Switch Engage.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. Yeah, so we just like we all got our little fix. Yeah, and then I was telling you my daughter went to see Pierce the Veil. Hey, let's do a quiz, everyone. Hey, just kidding.
I was gonna say Kill Switch Engage is like one of my husband's favorite bands.
Oh my god, yeah. It was so fun too, because like afterward, we were listening to their albums and we're going through traffic, and me and my son were like singing our hearts out, and my husband just like he didn't know any of the songs.
It's funny because like my little one Mordred, he loves music so much. He's like a little metalhead, and
Cute.
it's not just metal though. Like he like any music, anything with a beat, he's dancing and he's trying singing along. Like K-pop Demon Hunter came out over the summer, and
Mm-hmm.
my sister's like, "You gotta watch it with Frankie. Frankie's gonna love it." So we watched it with Frankie,
Aw.
and then Mordred, he loves the songs too. So like Frankie'd be on like YouTube and like some of those songs pop up through like shorts. He stops
Mm-hmm.
everything and looks, and then we put them on their Spotify playlist, and they're just singing along, and it's just cute listening
Oh,
to
that's
him
so
try to
cute.
sing because he doesn't know words and he just knows like sounds and pitches.
Yeah.
So
That's super cute.
he's so
Wow.
musically inclined. He like
Mm-hmm.
always tries to drum on things. He gets sticks and then tries like drumming on anything he can. I have to stop him from hitting our glass TV stand, and it's like,
Really?
don't do that. Yeah.
That's cute. You should get him a little drum set. That'd be cute.
My
Like,
house
no.
isn't big enough for a drum set.
No, like the little ones. They're really cute.
I mean, like the sound would be like way too loud.
Yeah, it probably would be. Oh, well. Yeah. So I know my kids are really, well, like our whole family is all about music. Like we love, love, love music. And this year was actually kind of cool because um so last year or like during the last tour, my we got the girls AT's tickets. So they saw it was our three girls and their cousin, and they went and they had a blast. But I mean, because there were four of them and the tickets were really expensive, I got them tickets like in the last row. So they're taking pictures. You could literally see the wall behind them. They were like in the last row. It was so funny. And then this year, so they came back around, and I was so proud because the girls bought their own tickets. Our two oldest, like, yeah, they got like their own tickets, and like they saved up for it, they paid for it, they planned the whole thing, and then they came down here, and I took them to the show, and it was just, I was like, we're getting there, where the kids are, they're growing up.
Being
That was like a
financially
big win.
responsible.
I'm so proud of them. I know they both started college this semester too, so I'm like really proud of them.
That's
That
really
was like
cool.
a big win. I know. I'm so happy
That's one thing
for
we
them.
started this year too, mainly in the summertime, is like really trying to budget
Mm-hmm.
because I have a horrible relationship with money. Like
Mm-hmm.
my dad kind of instilled into me as a young child. He's like, you have money, spend it. Why save
Yeah.
it? Why hoard it? Just spend the money. So I've had that mindset
Mm-hmm.
in me all the way until now, and I'm like, come on, we gotta budget for things. We want to build a house that needs thousands and thousands of dollars up front.
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to figure out how to budget, and I've basically been like, I guess, on maternity leave for a
Mm-hmm.
really long time. Not doing a lot of not doing a lot of production um, with happy accidents or anything like that. Like now I gotta get back to work to
Mm-hmm.
help.
Gotta make that money. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So
Speaking
that's a.
of homes and construction,
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
it wasn't a planned segue, but it was there. Over the summer, um, I don't know if you guys heard, probably audience, the home, Zenny home construction, I think filing for bankruptcy and like basically like eating themselves out of the Navajo Nation without completing their contracts. So I wrote up a quick overview. So like at the end of 2021, the Navajo Nation partnered with Zenny Home that set up a factory in Page, Arizona. The contract was for 160 homes to be made and delivered to the Navajo people to help with housing shortage. This year in July, it was announced that Zenny Home is claiming bankruptcy and has closed the factory. This action resulted in many Navajo workers being laid off, and the question of where the money that the tribe pays Zenny Home has gone. Currently, the Navajo Nation Council is calling for a formal investigation and an audit. Um, Various news sources state that the President Boo Nygren is in support of an investigation and is still demanding the houses that were contracted from the company. So there's that drama,
Oh, that's a big drama too. It's
right?
a big drama, yeah, because like I remember when our current president was seeking elect, like he was out campaigning saying that he was going to solve the housing crisis, right? That was one of the things he was going to address. And then when his when he was secured in office, he started talking about this $1,000 or 1,000 homes in the first year initiative, which didn't happen. But this is a this is supposed to be a big win for the Navajo Nation. This deal was supposed to be one that was going to change things for the better, and unfortunately, it did not at all. I pulled up a couple stories to prepare. I went on their website and I was kind of looking at. So if you go to the Zenny Home website, you can see like right away that a lot of the images are from the Navajo Nation. You can recognize like the plant life and the red dirt. And the first headline, the first like heading you see says partnering with the Navajo Nation to deliver 160 homes. Um, so these are supposed to be built on Navajo by Navajo for Navajo. And they were going to be 3-bedroom, 1-bath homes, factory built in partnership with the nation. Um, and the construction models, I mean, they look really cool. You know, they're like steel, so very durable. Um, they look very modern, which I think is really attractive. However, you know, they didn't follow through with their promise. And it's really unfortunate too, because like as you scroll through the website, you know, you see what their intention had been, but unfortunately it didn't go past this phase. And now, you know, as they file for bankruptcy, it's like a really big letdown for the people who are waiting on this solution. And the AZ Central reported, they picked up the story that Arlissa D. Vicente contributed to in July. And the heading says, or not the heading, but the first paragraph reads, Zenny Home is meant to be a solution to the Navajo Nation's housing shortage. But just over a year after the Phoenix based company secured a 75-year lease at the former Navajo generating station site near Page, the company announced it would shut down operations. So this is devastating. And for those who might not be aware, the where NGS was set up, there used to be a power plant there. And that was kind of just a part of the landscape. You know, you could see the smokestacks, you could see the smoke coming out of them every single day. And then in 2019, it was shut down and torn down. And that was very symbolic for those who were fighting against these mineral leases that our nation was entering into, and they didn't want to renew the leases, and they wanted to make sure that there was some sort of restoration plan in place, because mineral extraction companies caused so much damage and devastation on the Navajo Nation, specifically uranium, but also coal. But coal was like a big part of our economy. The Navajo Nation at that time, our economy was 75% dependent on coal extraction. And then Hopi, which is our neighbor, they're basically situated right at the center of the Navajo Nation. They were 80% dependent on coal extraction. So when these coal sites started to get shut down, that was devastating. And so there was this scramble for the nations and the Hopi tribe, the nation and the Hopi tribe, to try to find an alternative funding, like alternative funding source, or source that's going to provide some income for people who needed jobs, who were laid off and were seeking employment. Because, you know, all of a sudden this big this this big part of our economy was, you know, no longer in existence. So I think a lot of people thought, oh, this is going to be two birds with one stone, right? It's going to provide jobs, it's going to solve the housing crisis basically here on Navajo. Which, I mean, I don't know how many people are familiar with that. I feel like people that live on Navajo were very aware of it, but those who don't, they're probably like, what are you talking about? Like, there's probably hardly any, like, we hardly see Navajos anywhere. There's so much land. What's the problem? But they don't understand that, you know, there's a lot of factors. And I don't know if you want to go into that, but,
You
or what are
can.
your thoughts?
When I first heard it, like my first initial thought was just like, this is why we can't have nice things. You know, but then also thinking about it, it's like reading some of the stories and some of the things they're saying that they weren't sustainable. And
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out like why couldn't they provide 160 homes? And it's like, who's paying for the 100, like who's paying for the house, you know? And it's really hard, almost impossible to get a home loan, like a
Mm-hmm.
mortgage on your houses, just because of the way the land is set up. Like, I think we've talked about before, like the home site lease, a bank can't come and take that property from you because it's a lease from the Navajo
Mm-hmm.
Nation, from the federal government. And so, if the house is built on a foundation stuck to the ground, a bank can't take it. So, that's why a lot of people have mortgages and loans for mobile homes because they're not attached to the ground. Like a diesel can come and just haul that house away if someone can't make the payments. So
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking maybe they didn't set up or even think about how people were going to fund a three-bedroom, one bath house,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, outright with like mortgage payments or loan payments to fund that construction company so they could pay the workers to build the houses, you know, because those people need to
And
get paid
like that's like
bi-weekly.
I I think that's putting the responsibility on the people, right? But actually, according to a press release that was put out by Zenny Homes, they said that the decision to close the Litchi site, it came after a year of contractual breaches, delays, and political interference that caused over $47 million in unrecoverable losses for the company. And the latest setback was a $22 million contract reduction, which happened July 3rd over this summer. So, and as many people are aware, there has been a lot of um, turmoil within the executive branch in Winter Rock, right? Like the 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 headbutting between the executive branch and council. They're really like there's been a lot of things going on. There's been a lot of overturn, you know what I mean? And so I think that has contributed to the instability, but also probably bad decision making, you know what I mean? And so it kind of what they're saying though is they're putting the responsibility on the nation, not so much the people, the individual people that were waiting for homes. It's more like on those who were like the decision makers, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, and I feel like as a member of the Navajo Nation tribe, it doesn't surprise me, which is sad. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and not even just like, oh, it's the executive branch or it's the council or whatever. It's always the the political offices messing something up because
Mm-hmm.
someone's funneling money out or someone doesn't have the proper education or resources to fund or do that project just because nepotism comes in a lot with different offices and positions, and it's like it's not surprising, which is sad that this fell through.
Yeah, and it even goes deeper than that because like Zenny Homes are really like on the defense. So when like AZ, the AZ Time or AZ like Navajo Times and um AZ Central reached out to them, they were like really like vocal. Like one of the quotes that was made by them was they wrote, "Unfortunately, our efforts were met with broken promises, political infighting between the executive and legislative branches that led to Zenny Homes being a political football and bureaucratic dysfunction that made it impossible to continue." And that was Bob Worsley, the CEO of Zenny Homes. And so um, the reporter who was our homegirl, Krista Allen, writes, "The closure comes as the Navajo Nation Council launches an investigation into whether $24 million in federal COVID-19 relief funds were improperly awarded or administered under the Housing Initiative." On Saturday, which was this went out July 14th, so the Saturday prior, um, on Saturday, Delegate Shandine Parrish, the Budget and Finance Committee Chair, introduced legislation number 0174-25 calling for formal hearings and subpoena power to examine whether Navajo Nation laws and procurement policies were followed. And I remember reading about that where there was a lot of like back and forth being said between those decision makers, kind of pointing fingers, and a lot of questions being asked and a lot of deviation also. And when this was happening, I don't know if you remember when council had met and the president had been present at this meeting. And when he started to get questioned, he walked out. I'm pretty sure it was when they were discussing this topic. And then, of course, it was like a firestorm on social media where people were like, what the heck? Why did he do that? Like, it's your job to listen, it's actually, and this is something that I had a conversation with some people, is like, okay, you're a leader of the Navajo Nation. You want that title of Netani, right? You want to be recognized. What is one of our foundational teachings in Diné culture, Diné custom, Diné tradition? When you're being lectured, you don't argue or you know what I mean, like start a fight. You just listen. You let people voice what they have to say. If you're being asked to be held accountable for things, or you're being held accountable for things and people are asking you questions, you listen and you hear what they have to say, and then you respond, right? And you could respond saying, I'm not prepared to answer these questions at this time, but I will at a later time. Or I would like my counsel to be involved, right? Like I would like to have my legal counsel involved before I engage in this conversation. Like that's the way you could handle it. But he didn't do that. He like up and left. And I know that really rubbed a lot of people excuse me, it rubbed them the wrong way, because that's not how you're supposed to handle things, And I think it kind of showed his ability to be calm, cool, collected, and act like an Atani, but also like immaturity, right? It really was glaring in that moment, because there's definitely ways that you could handle these situations. And we've had presidents who've handled worse, worse in better ways. So
It feels like that's just like a running trend with like Navajo Nation, like even as small as like chapter houses, where people are so quick to try and approve things, they don't stop and properly vet it,
mm-hmm.
or it was properly vetted, but then people still have a problem and keep bringing up the problem that was already answered. It just reminds me of like the stuff I was doing with the chapter a couple of years ago, in that like
Mm-hmm.
I even went back and looked at the title 26 or whatever, see,
Mm-hmm.
and like, yeah, the previous club went through the proper channels and did what they had to do, and they're like, well, is in
Mm-hmm.
control of the money? It's like we have a fiscal sponsor to control that money. The
Mm-hmm.
chapter isn't going to receive the money, and they kept going
Mm-hmm.
back, well, who's going to handle the money? Like we have someone to handle the money, and it just kept going back and forth. And like even when I went up to present the resolution for the chapter, not even to like have to work, but just say, yeah, we agree you're doing this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we had two of the leaders walk out. And then
Mm.
we voted two other like substitute leaders in to continue the meeting because there was other things that needed to be handled. And they kept trying to like, they started this new rule where like you couldn't bring resolutions to the meeting. You had to go to the planning meeting,
Mm-hmm.
but they never let me present at the planning meeting. So I
Mm-hmm.
just went to the regular meeting to present with everyone there.
So you broke protocol. Just kidding.
No, I didn't. That wasn't an official rule.
So it's kidding.
It wasn't an official rule. There was no like approved. They didn't get that rule approved in the guidelines that where you have to go to the planning meeting for it to be approved on the agenda. And then they just started
All
coming
I'm
up with
hearing
that.
is, I'm just kidding.
I'll fight you this. I was right.
I'm just kidding.
Like they never let me
No.
present the resolution to the community, even though they kept saying we want
Mhm.
transparency. I'm like, well then let me talk. But they never even let me talk, and then they left that meeting.
See, that alone, I think like this is my personal thing, but I feel like if you're a leader, you're it's such a big responsibility, right? And you're not just there to like have things go your way all the time. You're not there just to be a figurehead. Your job is literally to hear what like you're a representative of the people. Like that's why you're there. That at least that's how we define leadership. And so it's like, well, you're going to be a representative of the people and you're going to be a decision maker. The very least you could do, the bare minimum, is let people voice their concerns and let them present to you. If there's time allocated, right? There isn't a fire and you don't have to like, you know what I mean? Like you're already in that space. And how frequently are you in that space? If someone has something to present to you, let them present. Or if someone wants to ask you questions, hear them out. You know what I mean? Like, that's the place for it. That's why we have these chapter houses. That's why we have these meeting spaces. And I think, like, going back to the conversation with the president, it's like he was at council, he was in the council chambers, and he was there to answer their questions and to hear their concerns. And I wish he would have stayed and listened. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if they're, it doesn't matter if your feelings got hurt. It doesn't matter if it was a tough stuff that you didn't want to answer. Like, just stay there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hear the people out. It's not like you're going to have to stay there overnight. You know what I mean? Like, you literally have to be there for the duration of one meeting. So that really frustrated me. And I kind of felt like I I gotta admit, I lost a little bit of respect, you know, for that person, because I'm just like, really? You can't handle a little bit of grilling? Like, come on, you know, like, that's like bare minimum stuff. Like, he could have handled that so much better. He could have said, I can't answer these questions right now, or I'm not prepared to have this conversation. Like, just be open about it. It's okay to tell people you don't know, or you can't answer, or you don't feel like you should because you need your legal counsel there, you know, something. But anyways, that's how it went down. And unfortunately, this whole project looks like it's going to get shut down. It's not coming, you know, it's not coming back. And what I did find too, in addition to these press releases, was also a public statement that was published by Navajo Nation President Boo Van Nigren. He put out a statement on July 14th for the people, and he basically breaks down his perspective on things. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like a few short paragraphs. I don't know if you want me to read it, but I can if you want, since
I don't know if you want to, unless you want to move to a new subject, but I'm keep reading.
I'll just read it. Ew. The people need to know. So he wrote, as a lifelong construction worker and home builder, I know what it means to take pride in your craft. To show up before sunrise, to weld steel, pour concrete, measure twice, and build something that will last generations. That's why the closure of Zenny Homes factory in Lechi'i hits especially hard. Over 200 skilled Navajo workers, my fellow builders, have been laid off. They lost more than jobs. They lost stability, a steady paycheck, and the pride that comes from building homes for our people right here on Navajo land. Zenny Home was the only high-tech housing manufacturer operating within the Navajo Nation. The facility offered real opportunity, not just hope, but employment with purpose. And now, due to the reduction of a key work order and political interference that undermined the project, those jobs are gone. According to Zenny Home, the original plan for 160 homes was cut in half, and with that decision, the company could no longer sustain operations, according to Zenny Home. So that kind of gives an explanation, and it explains the contractual shift that made it impossible for them to finish the job. He wrote, this shouldn't have happened, but now that it has, we must focus on supporting the workers, the people who did everything right and still lost everything. This morning, my administration dispatched staff to Lechi'i to offer assistance, counseling, job placement, and access to other resources. We're also beginning the process of evaluating the facility itself. This is a prime asset that must not sit empty. We're working to identify a new tenant or transitional use that can restore jobs and momentum to this community. I remain committed to ensuring all 160 homes are delivered to Navajo families, but right now, our priority is the 200 families affected by this loss. We owe them more than words, we owe them action. I'm not just speaking to you as president, I'm speaking as a tradesman who knows what it feels like to build with your hands and to watch it all disappear. We will get through this and we will rebuild. So a really, really good statement. But yeah, you know, it's like I said, there's like this finger pointing going back and forth, you know, council saying, president did this, president saying, council did this, Zenny Homes did this. Zenny Homes is like, y'all are crazy. You're both making bad decisions. You know what I mean? So it's like, they're not getting along, and it caused this to happen. So it's really unfortunate, but that's kind of like been the big story over the summer.
Yeah, and I know I keep
Hmm.
saying like we're not really a news channel, but I feel like this story was so big that it
Hmm.
feel weird to ignore it.
Yeah, especially because we talk about home sites all the time and like that desire to come home. Oh, speaking of which, can I share something real quick?
Sure.
So I want to give a shout out to Dana Studies Conference. I sit on their board. I was recently elected to sit as vice president, so that's kind of cool. But we are planning a conference, and we're going to be doing a call for papers in a few months. Right now, we actually brought new board members in, so we have a full board. We had a little bit of organizational change occur, but I was brought back in because I was previously sitting as president, and then we voted in a new president. That person stepped down, and so now we have new leadership in place, which is amazing. The new president is Homer Hubble, and he sat on Dinesh Studies Conference Board for many, many, many years. Really great, awesome person. Um, and I'm sitting as VP, and we have new board members in place, and we're planning our conference, and it's about the pathway home. That's going to be our theme because we all have, I feel like that's kind of been the theme in a lot of our lives, and we want to do something that's going to include like youths and students, because in the past, like for example, our last conference in 2023 was at Navajo Prep, and it was really focused on land, our connection to the land. And so a lot of the papers that, or a lot of submissions that were put in, and the research that was being presented was around that. So there were even like really great like geological reports done. There were stories about land. There were research projects related to it. It was really, really great, comprehensive, amazing coming together of academics, culture, right, community. But when we were having our executive meeting at the conclusion of the conference, one of our long standing partners was saying, let's we should we should really think seriously about how we can create a conference that's going to be very inclusive of youth. How do we get more students coming, not just grad students, but students of all ages, and so we started thinking about that. We started thinking about our journeys and how it's really been this journey of moving away and trying to come back, because when people talk about living the dream on Navajo, it's really about how are you going to get home? Like living the dream is being able to build a home on the homeland, right? It's being able to have a place to come back to that's yours. It's being able to live like on the land with the land, to have the freedom to grow, to grow your own crops or grow your own gardens, to be able to have the freedom to have livestock, things like that. And so, I mean, we're so like, that's who we are. That's what it really comes down to. So like, it's really about that journey home, and that's what the conference is going to be about. So I think it's kind of like, I want to just throw that out there. Oh, sorry. The official, my knee hit my desk. Anyways, the official call for papers is going to go out in a couple months. And so you can go to the Dinesh Studies Association website or our social media pages. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there because I feel like I'm really excited about it. And we're aiming to have the conference next fall in 2026. So
Yeah, and then we can add the link into the descriptions on the replay,
yeah.
so it'll be easier
Hmm.
to find it.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So some like funny news, I guess. Like some of the social media people I watch, like other reactors and everything.
Uh-huh.
They like I watched this one person who watches court trials and body cam footage or whatever because like her reaction analysis are really funny.
Hmm.
But she was covering the Cardi B trial when
Oh
um,
yeah.
so I don't know if anyone else has watched those videos or whatever, but like her reactions, like Cardi B's reactions, like it's a wig. I'm like, what in the world are you guys even talking about? Like
Oh
your
my
hair was
god.
short and black this day, and it was long and black this day. Now it's blonde and long. What's up with that? So I wear wigs. He's like, oh,
Oh my god,
I
that
didn't expect you to
attorney,
admit to
jeez.
it.
I was watching it on social media, and I was looking at some of the comments, and someone's like, "Where did that lady get her attorney on Timu?" I'm like, horrible.
I mean, like, I don't know who convinced that lady that she could get $25 million for not even a scratch. Or a scar?
Not, I know, she's like, I had to get like reconstructive surgery. I had to get like, like whatever. You did not need plastic surgery. That's
And
crazy.
like I saw the photo, like the guy describing where the scratch was. I'm like, where? It's so blurry. It's not clear. Don't you have like a clear photo with well lit lighting of what the scratch looks like? Even like,
I mean, I think didn't even her own mother like say that she saw no difference, and I'm just like, I don't know. That it was like all a money grab, and I'm
right?
just like, you're crazy.
The lawyer's like, how do you know she's here for the money? Because she's suing me for $25 million. It's like,
And then the closing statement, the lawyer's practically begging, like, give us some money because he wants to get paid. And I'm like, please. Like, I mean, people can not like her music all day, but the fact is she works really hard for it. You know what I mean? Like, she's an incredible performer and she writes her own music, and you know what I mean? Like she's doing the thing, you know? And so for someone to come in and try to get in her face, literally have her backed up against the wall while she's pregnant, you know, in her space when they're supposed to be like at work too. Like I was listening to Cardi B's testimony, and she was saying that she was in uniform. Like that security guard was in uniform when